Somebody's reaching in. So he uses his fingers, which are very good control technique. This is another control technique using the wrist. And then we flow into a rear choke. Choking him out, you could submit him there, you can knock him out, or you could just discard him, take him out the trash. One more time. Control with the fingers, take him down, put him into a lock, choke him out. So Kyle and Casey. So this is the defense from a rear choke. So if somebody comes behind you, grabs you, you can't escape, right? And he applies painful wrist lock. Alright, so a rear naked strangle is something people that know what they're doing will use a lot. And if you can catch an opponent from behind, you have a really good position of advantage. But if you know some jiu-jitsu, you can still escape from it. There's a big disadvantage here. Throws on the ground, then transitions into control technique, holding the wrist there, which we call a monkey paw. Another thing people might try to do if they have some training, or if they're just a lot bigger than you, is they may try to do what we call a double leg takedown, which is a good way to be on top of your opponent. If you're bigger than them, you have an advantage. So opponent ducks under your punch, double leg takedown you, lands on you, but you're not done yet. You defend from a punch. This is what we call a leg triangle, which is a very effective technique. You can use it to take somebody out. It's a great submission. If you apply a blood strangle to somebody, they can be knocked out in about 4 seconds if you cut off all the blood to the head. So it's very effective. Let's do one more time. Thank you. So Professor Clyde and Ed are going to demonstrate defense from a punch. All right, that went really fast, so let's see that again. So if somebody's throwing a punch at you, defend yourself by parrying it, applying a wrist lock. Then he's going to turn him over here, and he's going to put him into a control technique, holding him helpless with one foot. If done correctly, he can't get out of that. Let's see one more time here from a different angle. This wrist lock is a very good one. All right, next we're going to see another defense from punch. So opponent comes in with a punch. He's going to defend it by parrying it to the side and doing a painful back fist to the head. Then he's going to come in with some knees. Knees are great weapons in close. And he's going to apply a strangle, a choke from the front, and throw him out. Finally, he goes down to the ground and finishes his opponent. Thank you. Sergio and Eugene are going to demonstrate another defense from a punch with a follow-up. you defend from the punch with a block and then a strike to the neck. This will stun your opponent. And again. Then he's going to throw him, and on the ground he's going to break his neck. So this is a situation where you have to take your opponent out. All right, next is going to be a defense from 2 roundhouse punches. So a very common follow-up technique to one punch is you throw a second hook. And this is a defense. So he strikes him, then he knees him a few times. And then to get rid of him, we can just throw him. All right, next we're going to see a defense from a hook into a choke. Alright, so from a punch, he goes into a strike to the neck, circles around the neck to get on a choke. Then he's going to throw him and finish him off with a strike on the ground. Thank you. So this is going to be a defense from another rear choke, a different kind. So if somebody's mad at you, they may grab you from behind. A rear strangle is a common attack when somebody isn't thinking. It's very hard to hurt somebody badly with this, but it happens all the time when people are mad or passionate. He's going to throw him with a wrist lock. Then he's getting up, he does another wrist lock. Finally he's going to turn him over, and he's going to hold him helpless with his own arm. So most people would not be able to jump like Kyle is doing. He's protecting his wrist by throwing himself. If he didn't throw himself at that point with the wrist lock, his wrist would probably either be sprained or could possibly break. And that's why you see us doing that. This is going to be a defense from a knife. So somebody's coming at you with a knife from the side. It's a side slash. So in our school, we always teach when defending from a weapon, you always end up with a weapon. The weapon is the most dangerous part of their attack. So it's what you defend first. And when you're done, you have to end up with it. So he's going to apply, he's going to catch his weapon and put him into a shoulder and wrist lock. At this point, you can hold him there if he had to, but he's just going to take the weapon and move on. All right, next we're going to see a defense from an attack using a gun. So the person who has a gun has a psychological advantage. They feel they have control of the situation when they have the weapon. The gun is much more effective at range, but what people do is they will come in close to you with a gun because they feel like it's an intimidation factor. But once the gun is within reach, when it's close to you, you have a lot of defense possibilities. So we're going to see one possible defense from somebody coming in close with a gun. They're trying to control you, so they come in. Somebody's moving in with a gun, they're controlling the situation, maybe they want to get something from you, have you move somewhere. But at this point now it's in reach, so if Ruben gets the gun offline, then he controls the arm with the weapon, takes him down using an arm lock, and at this point on the ground he can safely retrieve the weapon. We always teach control the weapon, so you'll see as soon as possible Ruben controls the weapon. If Alex shot the weapon at this point, he'd be shooting himself. So it's safe for Ruben. So it's going to be a defense from a punch or a push. So the attacker first does a kick, maybe he's distracting, maybe he's trying to hit you. But he finally comes in with a punch and commits to it. So it's a clothesline across the neck, hopefully injuring them, disabling them. If not, we follow down to the ground with a strike. And at that point, done. Alright, next we have a technique that's used to defend yourself. If your opponent knows some martial arts or he just gets lucky, he manages to throw you. But if you have the presence of mind and training, you can counter it very quickly. So an opponent somehow manages to throw you, it could be a punch, whatever. On the ground, he immediately curls up, double kicks to the chest. Now he gets control of the leg and turns him over. And because we want to get rid of him, we punch his face in the ground a few times. So the next one is a defense from somebody reaching in, maybe pushing, or it could possibly also be from a punch. So your opponent reaches in, punches, you get control of one wrist, and you're going to throw him using a combination of the wrist, an arm bar, and also using your legs. This makes a very strong throw, and most people would be disabled at that point. And we follow up with a strike to the neck, the collarbone, the head, something to take him out permanently once you have stunned him on the ground.